Democrats have criticized you today for staying at the Trump property in Doonbeg. They say you're enriching the president. What's your response to that criticism?
It's wonderful to be back in Ireland. For many reasons, Ireland is so important to the United States of America as a trading partner. But in so many ways, for more than 30 million Americans, Ireland is family. And I'm one of them. I mean, it's deeply humbling for me to be able to come back to Ireland and have the opportunity to go to the very hometown of my mother's grandmother. I mean, we'll have dinner tonight at a little pub that I worked at when I was 22 years old, when I came over here shortly after my grandfather passed away. And right across the street is the house where my great-grandmother grew up. She often spoke of the castle that was out the window of her bedroom. And to be able to be here, to be able to reaffirm our commitment to the Republic of Ireland, to all of our economic ties, our diplomatic ties, but at the same time to have an opportunity to connect to the roots of my family, I think supports the relationship between the United States and Ireland. I understand political attacks by Democrats, but if you have a chance to get to Doonbeg, you'll find it's a fairly small place. And the opportunity to stay at Trump National in Doonbeg to accommodate the unique footprint that comes with our security detail and other personnel made it logical. We checked it with the State Department. They approved us staying there, and I was pleased to have the opportunity to return to that family hometown and to be able to stay there, and not just on a personal level, but also to do it in a way that helps me celebrate with the people of Ireland the connection that so many tens of millions of Americans feel to the Emerald Isle.
This is Pence responding to a question about yet another instance of public corruption by staying at a Trump property that the president still owns and profits from. And he did this by delving into a sentimental tale about his childhood. He then claimed that this trip to Doonbeg would reaffirm the bonds between the United States and Ireland, because clearly nothing would strengthen those bonds better than staying at a private luxury resort not accessible to the general public. And look, it's all very good and sweet that Mike Pence got to visit the bar he worked at when he was 22. I'm certain I speak for all Americans in saying just how fulfilling it is for me to know that the vice president was able to take his $224,000 government-funded trip down memory lane. But that doesn't change the fact that taxpayer dollars are yet again being used to line the pockets of a president exploiting his office to enrich himself. Of course, once Pence was done with his one-man play extolling the virtues of reconnecting to his heritage, he offered a half-hearted defense of the expense, claiming that it was a logical choice. To be clear, Doonbeg is 150 miles away from where a spate of official meetings were set to take place. 150 miles is like booking a hotel in San Diego for meetings in LA. I would love to see how logical Pence thinks it is the next time he has meetings on Capitol Hill to book a hotel in Philadelphia. He even goes so far as to say that it was cleared with the State Department, which is rich considering Trump's political appointees would defend him no matter what he did. The guy could, and I'm truly just spitballing here, obstruct justice on 10 separate occasions and his appointees would fall over themselves to completely exonerate him. So to think that because Pence checked in with the State Department is even a shred of justification to dump a boatload of cash into a Trump resort is laughable at best. And look, clearly Pence's excuses are BS and just one more way that they can curry favor with a president whose sole objective is to get rich. So when people praise Trump for donating his salary, this is why. That's just some tenuous cover so he can make way more money elsewhere, so he can lower his tax rate, saving him millions, so he can double the estate tax exemption, saving his family millions, so he can enrich himself off of golf cart rentals and hotel stays. That $400,000 he donates is made up for instantly somewhere else, but it gives him plausible deniability. It gives him a talking point to pivot to so that every time he pilfers the federal coffers, he can always selflessly fall back on his salary donation as if he's taking some massive hit to his bottom line. It's Target giving you a $1 off coupon knowing you'll come in and spend $20, because it is physically impossible not to walk out of Target with at least 5 more things than you walked in for. And as if Pence's absurd rationale about staying in Doonbeg wasn't enough of an embarrassment on its own, the White House's deputy press secretary took to Twitter today to take a shot at Pence's detractors. He wrote, "For all of you who still think our VP is anti-gay, I point you to his and the Second Lady's schedule tomorrow where they will join the Taoiseach and his partner for lunch in Ireland." Well, I guess he's not a homophobe after all, since he's deigned to sit down for a lunch with the leader of the country that he's currently visiting. I guess his support for the use of federal funding to treat people seeking to change their sexual behavior is merely a thing of the past now. His passing the Religious Freedom Restoration Act as governor of Indiana in 2015, effectively legalizing discrimination against LGBTQ Americans under the pretense of protecting religious liberty, are totally absolved, what with him gracing Ireland's gay Taoiseach with an hour for lunch. Just a pro tip for Team Pence: if you don't want to seem anti-gay, bragging about being able to sit in the same room as a gay person wouldn't be my first strategy. But the fact is that while this administration might try to dress itself up with flowery justifications, its actions speak louder than words. And whether it's the Attorney General of the United States hosting a holiday party in Trump's Washington, D.C. hotel, whether it's the president charging hundreds of thousands of dollars to rent golf carts to protect him on his weekly golf outings, or whether it's the vice president staying at a resort in the middle of nowhere Ireland so that he can give some business to yet another Trump property, this administration is only about one thing: enriching the president on the taxpayer's dime.